listening to the Estheticians Are More podcast with Brittany Hageman, episode number 212. Okay, couple things. So today's actually Monday. Happy Monday. I'm a little late getting this one recorded because last week was my daughter's birthday and there was just a lot to do around that. If you're watching the video, I have a lot to I have a admin day today that I'm going this week that I'm going to fix everything that you see. My hair is wet because I'm letting it air dry before I style it. So that's what's happening if you're watching the video. But I'm really excited to be back today to talk to you and talk about something that I've been seeing with my clients and specifically also with myself, and to help you understand what is happening with you and maybe some ideas of things that can help. So I'm talking about the difference between burnout and mental blocks. And usually I feel like people have one of the two if they're having a hard time taking action in their business. Sometimes they overlap, but usually it's one or the other. And sometimes mental blocks cause burnout. And then I also want to touch on, if you are really struggling, what I recommend for you to do. Okay, so to kind of catch you up, I myself have experienced burnout recently. And I think burnout can happen from a number of different things. Usually I see it with people pleasers burnout, and I'm a recovering people pleaser. High achievers, like type A personalities, can hit burnout. If you're taking on too much, you can hit burnout. And what I mean by that is you have too many number one priorities. The other way that I see burnout is by mental, things that you believe, and that can really prevent you from wanting to work. The other burnout that I see consistently with my clients, and that I used to experience when I first opened my esthetician business, was mental burnout of always thinking about your business. And that's different from then taking action in your business. Okay. So there's a lot of different things there. I didn't have them written down, so I may miss one. I'm sorry if I did. I'm going to talk about my own recent burnout experience, and then I'm going to kind of go into what I'm doing to get out of it, and also what I suggest you to do if you're experiencing some of these burnouts. So I launched my skincare line in July of this year, 2025, if you're listening to this live. And I also have this esthetician coaching business, and I have a small child who does go to school. She's preschool age. And I am the primary home person in my house because my husband's a pilot and he's gone a lot. And so I have a lot of home tasks as well. And cooking, not all the cooking, not all the cleaning, but a lot of it, more than my husband for sure. So that's kind of my responsibilities. So, and I also so my history of my personally was I had a baby who was a very challenging baby. I did a whole episode about that, and I experienced pretty severe mental health issues postpartum. And so I went from having all the time, however I wanted to organize my time, to having, when you have a small baby, you have no time unless you have someone taking care of your baby. And even that can be really hard, which it was for me. And so then my daughter started going to preschool when she was 2, but only a few hours a week. And so that's when I started taking esthetician coaching clients again. But that was 12 hours a week. So by the time I drop her off, pick her up, I only could do maybe 1 or 2 clients a day. And so since that has happened, that's been now 3 years that I've been back working with clients. The best way to describe my behind the scenes energy when she's at school is full gas pedal, because I had such few hours when she was 2. Before that, my mom took care of her a little bit. And so I started coaching when she was 7 or 8 months again. So I started coaching for a while, but it was 2 clients or 1 client at a time because I didn't have any childcare really. So I was oh my gosh, I have 12 hours. I went from having 2 hours a week to 12 hours. So I was I'm going to, and I love to help people. I love to make money. I love to achieve. And so my foot has been on the gas pedal the entire time. Now there's been times I've had to take breaks in my business because we moved and different things. So I couldn't have clients for periods of times and stuff. But if I have childcare, which I don't have childcare, that's the whole thing. But if I have childcare, it's always been lead foot in my pace. And this school year, she has the most school hours she's ever had. She's almost like, she's basically at a full-time, like a kindergarten schedule. So I'm like, I can do so much, like all summer. I was just like, when she starts school, I can fully launch my skincare business, continue to, excel in my coaching business. I have time to work out every day. I have time to clean the house every day, because I know this, I've known this for a while, but you can't, everything can't be the most important thing in your life. And so that meant when she was little, like my house was not organized. You see behind me, like it was not organized. Like it wasn't dirty, but it wasn't like you open a drawer and like everything's perfectly folded. I was cleaning it, but it wasn't like you came into my house and was like, just like, oh wow, what a beautifully clean house. Like it was just like basically putting out fires all the time. And same with exercise. Long story. Exercising regularly was very challenging with my particular child. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. She's she's at school, so I can go. So like all of these priorities that I have weren't able to happen. And I was so excited that they finally could. So I went all in everything. And week after week, I started feeling like I am more exhausted than I ever have been recently, not my whole life, but recently, because my house was so clean. I was doing 4 to 5 workouts a week. I was posting for my skincare, working on research and development, working on all that stuff. I was ending a bunch of clients and starting a bunch of clients. So some weeks I had double the workload of clients that I normally have. And I got sick, which is my body was like, nice try. You're done. Right. And it completely took me out. And so I was like, okay. And I know this, I just got too excited, and I am a driver, and I'm a person that just loves to drive and go, go, go and achieve. And so I was like, okay, I have to pull back. Everything cannot be the number one priority. So I reprioritized my priorities, which was the first priority is my coaching business. The second priority is rest. And I rest when I'm not with my family, but it's not the rest that I need. I wasn't resting during the day. When I was working as an esthetician with clients in San Diego, I had moments of rest throughout the day that I could kind of I had even 20 minutes that I could just not be running from thing to thing to thing. And I realized I didn't have that in my current schedule. I was going from client to workout to shower to client to lunch to client to, and lunch was 10, to bath, and then this, and then mopping my floors, and then picking my daughter up, and going straight from that to this and this, and then I was making dinner, putting it up, I just didn't have any rest during the day. So the way I've been prioritizing my schedule now is my coaching business. And then after I've done all my coaching business stuff, rest. And that for me means I'm moving not slowly, but slower in between tasks. So today I went and worked out, and I came home and sat at the table and made myself a snack. And normally I'd be have a snack pack, eating it on the way back from my workout, and jumping in the shower and then turning around, you know what I mean? And so I've been just taking things a little slower and scheduling less in my day. The other thing that I've been doing is my skincare line. I wouldn't say it's my third priority. My skincare line I am still working on, but I'm not pushing as hard. And that is truly because I don't have the time currently still, even though I do have childcare and things. And I could work on it when my daughter's home from school, but it's been a big transition for her to go to school at more hours. And she really needs that individualized time for me. And that's how I'm choosing to do it. Not to say that there's right or wrong answers here. I respect whatever your situation is and whatever your priorities, but for me, that is a better there will be a day where she comes home from school and she does not want my undivided attention. She'll like want to go to her room or like do her homework, be more independent. That is not today. And so then I'll be able to work, till like 5, and right now I work until like 2 for that reason. So then my skincare line is 3rd. So I still am working on it. I'm still doing networking events for it. I'm still putting it into my schedule, making it a priority, but I'm spending maybe like 2 or 3 hours a week on it versus like 2 or 3 hours a day, which I thought I was going to spend. And then the other priority that has come down is working out. I was trying to work out 5 days a week. Now I'm telling myself 3 days a week. I feel so much better about that. Like, I was really just going 3 days a week and beating myself up for only going to 5. So I'm just going to be realistic. Again, this is like 3 days a week is more than what it was, which was 0. So I'm just going to like really be proud of myself for doing 3. And if I do more, great, but like that's not my priority. And then my house cleaning is my last priority, as you see here. No, this is just chaotic for my stepdaughter's birthday. That's what a lot of the stuff is behind me. But this was the room that we were hiding boxes of stuff and, all the presents and surprises. So I am cleaning more of my daughter's home because she's old enough now that she can respect that I'm like vacuuming or cleaning the bathroom, and like she'll come and we'll blast Taylor Swift and she'll dance while I clean. So I've been able to figure that out more. And then I've been like, my husband's been doing more. I've been working more. So like, you got to do more, which he's always happy to do. I just kind of was carrying that load. So that's kind of how I have had to reprioritize my burnout. Usually what I see with clients, like I'm not in the stage where I'm constantly thinking about both of my businesses. I do have ideas and I just write them down when I'm not working. But if you find yourself obsessing about your business all the time, you really have to create strong boundaries with yourself of like time that you're going to work and think about your business, time that you're not, and find activities that you can do when you're not actually able to work on your business. Because a lot of burnout I see is from people thinking so much, but like they're not doing anything. They're not posting anything. They're not talking to anyone about their business. They're just thinking about it. And thinking really does very little if you're not going to take action. Like I have ideas for both of my business, and I think about those ideas as I'm developing them in my head, but those are coming for like, I just have an idea for my like 4th quarter workshop. I think did 3 workshops this year. I tried to do 4. I didn't do one in the summertime. That's something that I've learned. Summertime, I have very limited childcare. It's harder for me to do a workshop, but I'm going to do a workshop hopefully in November. No, I'm definitely going to do one workshop in November. And the idea came to me recently, and I've just been thinking about it, like when I'm in the shower and like whatever, but I'm not obsessing about it. I'm not like worrying about it. I'm just like thinking like, oh, like that's a good thing to add, and like those kinds of stuff. Same thing with my skincare line. I'm like, oh yeah, like I really want to work on this label. And so like when I have it, and then if I'm like in the shower or something, like I'll write it on my phone in my notes app or whatever, so that I get that out of my head, the idea out of my head, and I'm not just like ruminating, because the ruminating is very exhausting. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about, so that's kind of like burnout behavior. Like you have too many priorities, too many things you're number one. You actually are doing too many things, actual physically doing things. You're like working a full-time job, and every day you're like cleaning your house, and every day you're, trying to do 6 posts, and like and you're working out for an hour and a half, and like there's just like quite not enough hours in the day to do all the things you're trying to do. So then you have to figure out how you're going to change your priorities, even if it's temporary, so you can continue to move the ball. The thing with business is like growth mode, go mode. It's fun, it's exciting, I love it. I love being in growth mode. But what I have learned as an adult with now 2 businesses and a family, I don't have that flexibility and freedom over my schedule like I did before. And I'm also like almost 10 years older, right? And so it's like, as fun, as exciting and addicting as that is not a sustainable mode. And so you have to think about like how you're going to prioritize things, that things can keep moving so you don't push yourself so hard that you burn out and you do nothing, which is what happened to me recently. So let's talk about mental blocks and how mental blocks can create burnout, but it can also, you can feel like you're burned out, but you're not doing a lot of things. Like your schedule is not full. You're not going from client to client. You're not, having a ton of personal tasks and then a ton of work tasks, and there's just not enough time in the day. These mental blocks can kind of show up if we're always people pleasing. So we're not saying no. We're afraid if we don't respond to messages right away, then people are going to never come back. It's usually a big people pleasing thing. It's a scarcity, like where you're afraid, like if this client isn't exactly what, like, then it's going to be disaster and they're going to go away. I'm never making any money again. Like it kind of creates, like, you have those beliefs about, you have a lot of scarcity around your business. The other mental blocks that I've seen that have done, like, led to burnout or to these kind of thoughts is really resentful of your clients. And I have to say, I have been there. Like when I had my acne clients and I was working so many hours and, people weren't doing what they were supposed to do and getting mad at me and texting me panicked and all the things that they do, the acne people do. The resentment came quick because it was like I was working 24/7 to help them, and they still weren't happy. So I had to create boundaries and change the way I viewed them, and that was really powerful to me. And as opposed to taking it personally, like totally becoming neutral about it, and that took a lot of coaching and mental thoughts. So that's another common thing that I see with like mental tasks or mental roadblocks. The other mental roadblocks that I see, and it's very fascinating to me because I do talk about this all the time, but I feel like when I tell people in coaching or in discovery calls, people are always really surprised when I tell them this, which is you have to do, like, the amount that you have to put yourself out there and the rate at that people are going to give you money, book with you, buy your whatever. It is not the same rate. It's not like you put yourself out there and then you get a booking and you do 4 posts and then you get a booking. Like there's actually I can't give someone like a specific number of how many of X before you get Y. And I think people really want that. They're like, oh yeah, I posted 12 times this week and I got no new clients. It doesn't work. No, that doesn't mean it at all. It means that you're maybe just starting to show up with people that they understand what you do. And maybe they're starting to maybe become interested. Starting to even recognize who you are. You're not just a random person on their feed, right? Or I went to a networking event and gave out my card and talked to 2 people and no one booked. Right, but you just met these people. They probably are not very connected to you. They probably don't know who you are. There's so many, like, especially if you're doing acne or something that they're more connected to you versus like hair removal. Hair removal tends to be faster. And I find people who come from hair removal and they try to do facials are really shocked by this because it's like hair removal. It's like, oh my gosh, my eyebrows are a mess. I want to book my eyebrows today. Like it's kind of like kind of panic with hair removal a lot of the times versus like acne facials, corrective services. People need to start to know you and trust you, and they need to like feel like they get you before they're going to invest their time and money with you, and they're like scared or nervous. And so they need a lot of exposure to trust you. And so you may be around them and exposing them to your business 100 times before they buy. And that doesn't mean what you're doing is wrong or so, like, that is just how people are. I think people find that really fascinating. They're like, I went to like a networking event and no one booked, so it doesn't work. Or I, handed out my cards somewhere and no one did anything. Like we have to look at this totally different. And no one is going to talk about your business. No one is going to care about your business more than you. Not even your current clients who love you. love you. They are not going to promote your business like you. I would say, like I said, I have like probably 10 people who really love my skincare line and have already repurchased. And they've definitely, I know they've told some of their friends and family, but they are busy. They have full lives. They have jobs. They have careers. They have families. They have hobbies. They have house projects. They are not thinking about me. It is not their job to grow my skincare line. It is my job, only mine. I have to continue to talk to people. And it's always uncomfortable. Whether I do it online or in person, I'm always uncomfortable until I eventually kind of like, in my esthetician coaching business, I would definitely say now I'm pretty comfortable. Like if people ask me questions, I don't get like, oh God, oh, they scare, you know, I'm just like, oh yeah, like, hey, yeah, if you're interested, here it is. If you're not, no worries. Like I don't really have a lot of drama about it anymore. But my skincare business, I have so much drama about it. I'm so nervous about it. And I used to feel this way about my coaching business that I would like, remember one time my daughter was at the park, she was probably like 18 months, and she was just like going down the slide around and around. I checked my DMs and like someone was interested in coaching with me, and I like almost like I couldn't even reply to the message because I wanted it so bad. I wanted a client so bad, and I was so excited that someone was interested that I couldn't even like do it. I was like, I remember just being completely overwhelmed by it. Now I'm like, someone DMs me, I'm like, hey, yeah. I like sometimes forget, like I'll see it. And then I'm like, this is why I'm so bad at text messages. I'll see it. I'm like, oh, I want to send them a link. And then like, you know, it's like squirrel, you know, and I get distracted. So I obviously that comes from a lack of scarcity. I feel much more confident. I've been doing it longer. I have lots of clients. I've had lots of people that have been very happy with working with me. So like these, when you're new, none of that is true. And so everything is scary and everything is vulnerable. But you can overcome that mental block, which is believing one action or even 5 actions creates the result you want. I always equate it back to if like someone bought a cleanser and they used it 5 times and they said my skin didn't change, that's not a realistic expectation. Someone bought a vitamin C from you and used it for a week and said it did not improve the brightness of my skin, anything. That's not realistic. Especially if you do acne, you know, like they use benzoyl peroxide for 3 days. Nothing's happening. Okay. Nothing. Anything, their skin may look worse. Okay. So we understand this concept in other ways. It's just scarier for us. So those are the mental blocks that I think really lead to burnout, because then people put their whole heart into something, they don't get the result they want, so then they just quit. So I really do teach my clients, like, we are doing slow and steady, consistent work. Slow and steady, consistent work. And sometimes I have really high achieving clients I love so much. They're like, I want more. I'm like, we are looking for long-term success, not quick-term influx of clients and burnout. We are looking for behaviors that you can do consistently, long period of time. Of course, there'll be time that you're in growth mode where you kind of ramp it up, where you are trying harder to, get, more clients or more online sales or whatever. But once you get into a rhythm, that is more sustainable than always pushing. And the rhythm is boring. Okay, like it's like checking up on clients and like checking on this and like making posts and reaching out to people and going to events. Like it's none of it is like, oh my gosh, my life has changed. It's like daily stuff that you do. So I hope that was helpful for you today. If you have been experiencing these things, definitely apply to work with me. am currently full, but I am taking deposits to start early 2026, January 2026, maybe February 2026. So the way that works is you apply to work with me, step one. Step two, if I think you're a good fit based on your application, I will send you a link for a free discovery call, which is just you and I chatting over Google Meet, where I basically I want to see that what you want to do, I can actually help you with. I feel like we're a good fit, like from an energy perspective and all that stuff. And then if you decide that it works for you, I decide it works for me, then I'll send you an invoice for a $100 non-refundable deposit that will hold your spot for early to 2026. And then once we get there, I will send you all the information to start. So I'm having a number of people actually doing that right now because for whatever reason, well, I'm not open, but they're not ready to start anyways. And so it's kind of a perfect score. So that is it for today. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.